Welcome to Lakers Today, presented by Offside and the Offside app. Join us at offside.gg. We have live game scores, live game chats, and stat cards. But today, I'm here with my guy, Roosh Williams, host of the Rockets Talk podcast, a great follow online. My friend in this industry for a while, an actual hooper who's been kind of helping me find new hoop shoes as well. So that's how you know he's in the game. But Roosh, first, sorry what happened last night, but how are you doing, my guy?
How am I doing? Well, like I said, man, I'm still processing last night. I'm trying to come away with like calm, collected thoughts, but it's kind of hard to do given what they did last night. So yeah, I woke up, I went and played this morning. I had to like get it out,
Yeah, that's the
and
best
everyone
way.
and everyone at the run, it was just like flabbergasted as to like, everyone was like, oh my God, fire this person, fire that person, trade this person, trade that person. So that's the temperature in Houston today.
That's definitely where I want to start. Before we get there, this is how fast time flies. The last time I believe we recorded a podcast, just because of how life works and time works, this was right after Summer League, and it was Alperen's first Summer League game. And I remember asking you just your thoughts on the entire Summer League. I forgot who the main lottery pick was in that draft for you guys.
That's Jalen Green. I
Jalen
want to
Green.
say, I want to say, by the way, I think it was after we saw it when we hung out at Summer League. That was Jabari.
Oh, that was Jabari. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, and I remember Houston.
Jabari and Tari Eason.
Yes, and Houston had a really good summer league. I remember they were kind of one of the ones that had a lot of young talent. But yeah, you were like, yeah, Alperen's crazy. This dude has a crazy skill set. He is interesting. Fast forward now, we are in a playoff series, and I want to dive into game 3 with you, and I want to give you credit. Actually, I texted you about the series, and you're like, I actually think the Lakers could win. You mentioned Luke Kennard and Rui Hachimura, and I asked if you were trolling me, and you said you weren't. You were absolutely sure that they could have an impact. But just like kind of backing up a little bit from the Rockets perspective, because it's easy to just focus on your team. Where are you at with this core? From how does last night's, I guess, result shift your mindset of this team going forward?
It's a good question. I mean, I'm at the point now where I just don't care. Like anything's on the table for me.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these guys have proven anything, right? I mean, shout out to Şengün. He did play like an all-star last night. And so I hope if we're able to extend the series, I hope he can do that more often. It's not good enough to do it one out of every 3, because as we've seen, once you're down 2-0, you can get the performance you got last night, 33 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, I think 3 steals and a block, 15 to 27. Like, he was there. He put the team on his back and basically willed them to victory until, his teammates snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Or vice versa, snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, I guess is what you'd say. But but anyways, doing it once every 3 games, like it's just not good enough. Now, where am I at with the core? It's kind of a nuanced topic because I think that these guys have just been used incorrectly. I don't think it's any secret that none of these guys are like top tier talents. Şengün's the closest one in terms of accolades. He's a 2-time All-Star.
Yeah.
As you saw last night, he can put a team on his back and almost, just about get it done. He's the only player out of this core that can do that, by the way. And that includes Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson has been dangerously misused, in my opinion. The Rockets think he's a point guard. I've been beating that drum. If you've been following me, you've been seeing me just say, like, this is a mistake. It makes the team worse. It makes the offense worse. It makes everyone worse. It actually makes Amen worse, by the way. A lot of Rockets fans have this kind of misconception that, if you just like put guys through the ringer and just make them play a new position, they learn skills and they become better. And I don't think that's necessarily true. Last night you saw Reed Sheppard play at point guard. He did not have a good game. He was horrific for the most part, but him playing point guard allowed Amen Thompson to not play point guard. And hey, lo and behold, Amen Thompson had the best game of his best game of the series. 26 points, 11 boards, 4 assists on 8 of 14 from the field. Right. And I don't think that's a coincidence. So to answer your question, where am I at? I'm at a place where something's got to change. I could also be convinced that, you get Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams healthy and you figure out how to fill in the total 0 that Dorian Finney-Smith has been.
Man.
Which is just absurd. And maybe you have something there as well. But they're just at this weird point where it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I don't think they do either.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Dorian, I'm shocked. I mean, he was helpful for the Lakers last year. Now, obviously, the playoffs were what they were. That was more because the Lakers went complete small ball, no center, and Minnesota took advantage of it. But to watch him look like a guy that should not be out there, should not be playing basketball, his shots were hitting the side of the backboard. With Sengun, I think you're right. I think he's obviously he has the most accolades on the court. From just a Laker perspective, obviously no Kevin Durant changes this, but they sent help at him. I thought, the only guy they kind of let play one-on-one was DeAndre Ayton. Is he good enough as a passer to be a hub of an offense to you, to where I thought, to me, it, again, I'm looking at it from the outside, but I thought it was impressive that down 2-0, Kevin Durant sits out, is actually not even on the bench, and we learned later that he was getting treatment. But from Ime Udoka today, he had all kinds of things going on, I guess. But Sengun comes out, and I thought tried at least to put his team on the back offensively. But that's where I'm curious. Is he a hub of an offense to you where you can take something like that and, all right, we can move forward next season? Or is that something where you saw it in the playoffs and you think this has just been too inconsistent throughout the season that I can't move forward with him as a main hub of the offense?
Yeah, so I've been a big proponent of, like, the Rockets fans call it Shin Hub,
Okay.
Şengün playing as the hub.
Yes.
The issue is that it's been inconsistent, and so I've kind of lost faith in it over time because, I mean, there will be stretches of games where he does what he did last night, and he'll do it game after game after game, and you're like, okay, finally, right? I mean, I know Lakers fans are, like, proud of DeAndre Ayton for guarding him and Jackson Hayes for guarding him, but I'm sorry to tell you, they can't guard him. It's just sometimes he decides to take himself out of the game by playing, not playing to his strengths, right? And that is the downside, because then there's games where he's just like tunnel vision, overcompensating. He'll miss a couple easy shots to start out, and then he spends the rest of the game trying to make up for it and just digs himself further into a hole. He hasn't. It's also twofold because he hasn't really been much of a passer, but the Rockets don't design anything for movement. They run like a screen and then they get a switch and then everyone just kind of backs out and watches. Like what you guys do with Luke Kennard. We don't do that at all, right? You would think that maybe let's do that with Reed Shepherd, for example.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
It's someone who would actually benefit from that is Jabari Smith. He's pretty good at movement shooting, but they don't do it. They just spot him up. And so I don't think you can make him a hub. I do think, by the way, to be fair, I think the two people who have been the most hurt by the lack of a point guard on this team are Şengün and Kevin Durant, of course. But Şengün, keep in mind, he's done what he's done with no point guard. The Rockets literally cannot run a pick and roll. Okay. Think about that for just 1 second. They're an NBA team. They're a 52-win 5 seed in the NBA in the Western Conference nonetheless. And they don't have a guard on the roster who can run pick and roll. That's insane.
It is, and it's a nice segue here because I think Reed Shepherd has been the story of this series in terms of Rockets fans saying, "Hey, he should be playing more. Why did he get 11 minutes in Game 2?" I've been on I'm not trying to cape for Ime here, but I do think there's a defensive component with him of, hey, the Lakers just decide whenever he's on the floor, and you can correct me if I'm wrong if you're seeing differently, that whenever he's on the floor, he's the one that gets hunted. Every time he's in ball screens. Marcus Smart did it last night. And what a game for Marcus Smart, around 21, 10, and 5 steals.
What a series for Marcus Smart. He's been the best guard. If you would have told me coming into the series before it started that Marcus Smart would be the best guard in the series, I would have said, yeah, right. But he has been. So, yeah.
He has. It's funny because Stan Van Gundy was, kind of really belaboring the point that Houston doesn't have a point guard. And he's correct on that. He kept saying Houston doesn't have a point guard. Houston doesn't have a point guard. But then they pan to the Lakers bench and it's like Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves sitting there. It's like, and obviously you guys are missing Fred VanVleet, which is something that is a big part of this series. But Reed Shepherd, every time I watched him, I'll shoot you a text. I'm like, man, this guy is cold. Like, this guy is a bucket. Green light like crazy. Now I don't know if that's Ime handing that green light over to him or he's just taking it. What do you make of, I guess, his minutes to go from 36 in Game 1, 11 in Game 2, and then 40 plus in Game 3? A really strange minute distribution. Obviously, KD's played between in those games. But does Ime have a case, I guess, for why he jerked around Reed Shepherd's minutes in this series?
Yeah, he does. But so, yeah, like you said, right, the Lakers targeted Reed Shepherd. And there was a crucial point where it really stood out when I think you guys took, I think it was 91-89. I think it was 91-89, something like that. Marcus Smart, 2 possessions back to back, just like saw a read on him and said, I'm going straight to the basket. And it's exactly what he did. And he got to the cup with no resistance and he scored. Maybe took like 7 or 8 seconds off the shot clock max each time. You know, it was just easy. The second time though, Reed came down and then what did he do? He hit a go-ahead 3 to give the Rockets it was either their first lead of the game or it was their first lead since, you know, whenever in the first quarter, right?
Yeah. And
so that exchange kind of is the snapshot of the Reed Sheppard conundrum. He's going to bleed buckets, right? There's a clip where I forget who it is. He goes like, it's like in the first quarter, I think he goes way over a screen. Yeah. And then the pass goes to LeBron and he's like kind of in no man's land. He gets back over to LeBron, puts his hands up, then he turns around and LeBron cuts to the basket and it's a bucket. Like he's just lost, right? Happens throughout the game. There's no question about that. But then he'll come back and he'll hit a big bucket and he'll give you the lead, right? So it's kind of there's like a seesaw there. And the general conclusion for the season, at least, has been that despite those limitations, the Rockets still win his minutes somehow, right? And they did last night before overtime, right? Yeah. So he played he ended up -2. I think he finished regulation +2, I think, right? And obviously before they had the turnovers at the end and blew it, the Rockets only gave up 95 points, right?
Yeah.
Which would have been their best defensive performance of the series so far. So it's like this kind of it's like this imbalance between you're watching it and you're watching him get sauteed and you're like, oh my God, that's why you made benches him. But then you see the game and you're like, well, they're about to win the game until they did, of course.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of like this weird imbalance. And then also the downside of that is, you can put Josh Okogie in, right? You could put whoever else in and play the defensive advantage. But again, how do you explain? Now, I don't know that the points per 100 possessions, maybe there's a discrepancy if you look at it points per 100 possessions. But as far as just points per game go, I mean, how do you explain that discrepancy, right? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think defense, we do this, Roosh, a lot of times. We just put defense in like a bucket of are you good or are you bad, right? Offense, we have a little bit more context. We use, are you a shooter, can you cut, etc. Defense is kind of just black and white all the time in the conversation. He has really good hands. He gets steals. I feel like
a great steal late.
Yeah, he gets deflections. I think they said on the broadcast, I'm not sure if I heard it correctly, but he's one of the top guys in the league in steals, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So, I don't know what his numbers are. His steal rate, I think, is high. But I think steals per game, he's like up there with among the league leaders, I think.
Yeah, and so what's funny is watching him, I guess, go through this carousel of being hunted. But the Lakers have Luke Kennard on the floor at the exact same time, right? And so Houston's, I guess, that's the part I kind of want to go next.
Can I say one thing though about this? Because this is important.
Yes.
People get hung up on this, like, oh man, you put this weak link on the floor and he's just going to get hunted.
Yeah.
I do think there's something to taking a team out of its offense to focus on hunting.
Sure.
Right? It'll work, but it's really hard to do that for 4 quarters. It's really hard to just be like, hey, everywhere Reed Sheppard is, let's hunt him, right? He had a couple good defensive possessions on Rui Hachimura, by the way, in the 4th quarter. And Rui tried to just kind of get to his spot and shoot, and it didn't work. And it's like, now you're sacrificing your team offense because you have the mismatch. But if you don't take advantage of that mismatch, right, you're putting everyone else at a disadvantage because you're basically going for it on your own. And you're taking that gamble. We used to see this with the Warriors, the Rockets specifically. We would hunt Steph Curry out. And it was like, oh yeah, get Steph Curry on James Harden. Yeah. But there's only so many times that you can just get the mismatch and drive and score and get the mismatch and drive and score. Guys get tired. Guys start settling for jump shots. Sometimes guys miss jump shots. Sometimes they don't get the foul call when the smaller guy fouls them and they get to the basket. And like those little things add up. And I think that's, and then the other thing is, like I said earlier, even though Reed was, what was he, 6 of 21 or something crazy?
Yeah,
6 of 21 from the field, right? Terribly off. And he's all, by the way, he's a low turnover guy. Last night he was not. He had a lot of turnovers last night, including the back-breaking one at the end. But him playing point guard allows Amen Thompson to be Amen Thompson, right? So there are trickle-down effects. I think too often, fans look at like just this one thing in a vacuum, you know? Yeah. Oh, he's bad at defense. Oh, he's bad at shooting, or he's shooting, he's off or whatever. But they don't understand the downstream effects. And I think that Reed Sheppard playing point guard, given that the Rockets do not have a point guard, just like the fact that someone can kind of play the position, I think the downstream effects were enough to win that game, as we saw, until it wasn't.
And to your point on that, I thought the Reed Sheppard, Amen Thompson, like off-ball screen, I thought that messed the Lakers up. The Lakers are trying to hide Rui Hachimura and Amen Thompson. or have him on him and back up and guard him like 08 Rondo and just stay in the paint. But I thought like having Reed screen for him created some misdirections with them to the like a mismatch hunting. And this is kind of the interesting part. KD only played one game in this series and had 9 turnovers in that game. A lot of it was off the double teams. And I think you're right. Mismatch hunting can be time consuming. I think it can take the shot clock. I also think that's how LeBron James plays basketball and has for a long time. Like Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Austin Reeves lately. Like that's how he plays. I'm not sure KD is a switch hunting type guy. If you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna put it a little simply in the question and I'll let you elaborate. But why was, I guess, Houston unable to, I guess it's too easy to say take advantage of double teams, but I think the Lakers blitzing, what worked in that frustrated Houston for 3 straight games now, right? 2 games in March where they had this defensive game plan against Kevin Durant, and then in game 2 when KD suited up, once again switching and blitzing, getting the ball out of his hands, and Houston still unable to, I guess, create positive offense out of that.
Well, first of all, credit to JJ Redick. I mean, he's prepared. Period. He's done a great job. You guys should be really happy with JJ Redick. I would be if I was a Lakers fan. Very disappointing because, like you said, they saw it back-to-back games in March. I mean, I said this somewhere on my pod or something. I was like, dude, they better have an answer for that. And if they don't, then I mean, that's all I need to see, right? To know which way this is going to go.
What's the answer to you for you?
The answer is well, number one, the answer is you play Reed Shepherd so KD's not handling the ball. Okay, that's number one. Kevin Durant's not a point guard, and I know that Kevin Durant's getting a lot of heat, and we can debate about whether that should or should not be the case. But at the end of the day, you've seen the warts now of this team without KD, and then look at what KD's had to do playing point guard with this team. Kevin Durant's covered up a lot of these warts. He hasn't been perfect. But if you look at his turnover rate, turnover percentage, turnovers per game, it's really in line with his career. So some games are worse than others, like game 2. Now, number one is you don't have Kevin Durant play point guard. Okay. That's why I wanted to play Reed Shepherd. Now, Reed Shepherd had some bad turnovers last night too. So there's no perfect answer. But at the end of the day, Reed Shepherd and KD up top, when that double comes, Reed Shepherd's right there. And he can pass it to Reed Shepherd. And guys will close out on that. Right? Even when he's off, you have to close out on Reed Shepherd, which again, downstream effects, right? So even when he's off, someone's got to close out, pump fake drive, something can happen. There's a chance now for a very stagnant offense to actually get movement, to get a driving kick. I mean, if you notice, we don't get driving kicks. Like that's not a thing we get. We don't get shit, quite frankly. Okay. Everything we get is tough, which is another problem of Amen Thompson playing point guard. Okay. Because he was absent Steven Adams. He is our best offensive rebounder. He is one of the most elite play finishers in the NBA. The Rockets have used him as a play creator, which he's not very good at. His athleticism, his vertical, all that, great offensive rebounder, great putback guy. The easy buckets we got, and maybe you saw some of it last night with some of those offensive rebounds where a man would get it and then go back up and dunk and get fouled and one. Saved us a lot of times when we were down 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'd brick it, and then a man would go save the possession and get a rebound and put it back. Anyways, so number one, Kevin Durant doesn't play point guard. Number 2, if he's going to play point guard, you need to have Şengün screen and then roll. Or Şengün stand off in the middle. What they were doing too often is Şengün would screen and then he'd get the switch, and then Şengün would duck off and go to the dunker or go somewhere else. And then KD would start sizing up his defender on the switch, and then a blitz would come double. A double would come late, right? Yep. And so by that time, you're out of options. Now, when they get the switch, just give it to Şengün and let him get downhill, right? Use the numbers. Use the fact that defenders are on their heels or pressed up on KD. Use KD's gravity. Don't just get the switch and then watch him. Use the gravity to do something. But again, the main issue is KD's not a great passer out of a double team. And he's 7 feet tall. So like, you got to be low to the ground, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that high to the ground and you're getting doubled, you're going to lose the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw.
100%. I don't disagree with anything you said there. I think those are legit counters. What I'm interested in, because I think Amen is a fascinating just case study, first team all defense type of player. You've echoed to me on and offline about kind of, I guess, the ceiling that some Rockets fans feel like he is. You just put point blank, he's not a point guard. Can you be an off-ball guard that can't shoot? Like, is that feasible in the playoffs? You know what I mean? I find that interesting. If he does it, Right, it's like the Russell Westbrook thing, right? It's like, yes, you can play him off of LeBron, but at a certain point, teams will just egregiously help off him. And it's not like Amen can't make up the space, just like Prime Russ. And I would argue Prime Russ had a mid-range jump shot that was a lot more lethal than people remember because of how his career kind of continued. But in any case, yeah, can Amen do that without developing some type of? He had a mid-range pull-up over a contest, right? A free throw line jumper. Is he? I think he's a good free throw shooter. I don't have his percentages, but he hit a
He's
good amount.
gotten much better. I think he's like high 70s.
Okay, yeah. So that I think that's workable. But yeah, can Amin be like this off ball guard if he can't shoot?
So the thing is, he functions more as a forward. To me, he's very much he's like our Sean Marion. All right. Okay. And Sean Marion had a season where he shot 39% from three. Most of the time, I think it was like low 30s for the most of his career, I think. I didn't look it up. That's just my memory. You can fact check me if you want. But the thing is that he's so good at cutting off ball. Russ wasn't. Russ was like, give me the rock. And if I don't have the rock, Russ would maybe cut from the corner baseline for a dunk every now and then, but it wasn't like a core part of his game.
No. It
is a core part of a men's game, right? And again, when we get that pick and roll, and when you get a double up top, or even if you get a switch, we did this a lot with Fred VanVleet. Şengün rolls, he gets the ball, defender steps up, someone from the corner floats over, and then a man cuts, goes over the top. You just throw the alley-oop up and he'll go get it. And he's lethal like that. He's the kind of player that creates for himself with his athleticism, with his own space. People have this misconception that he's got to have the ball to do it. Oh, you're so athletic, give him the ball. And that's a misconception. He's so athletic. Don't give him the ball. Let him be athletic, like without the ball. You know how hard it is to guard someone who's athletic when they don't have the ball? Because the only way you can stop them is by fouling them, right? Like when someone has the ball, you're allowed to give them contact. And maybe it'll be up to the refs to call it or not. But when a man has the ball, you can bump him and know that like, I'm not worried if he pulls up. I'll let him pull up. I'm going to bump him and stay low and live with what happens. And his mid-range percentages are very bad. Eye test shows that he's gotten better at actually shooting it. And he hit one last night, but then he does that dumb shit like he did last night at the end of the half where he dribbles it off his knee and falls, or he's actually done that several times in this series. Or he keeps dribbling and dribbling. There's nothing there. He's looking around, nowhere to pass, and then he just pulls up and bricks a midi, And that's what the Rockets cannot live with. And what they haven't been able to figure out, they've like inverted their spacing. They've given the ball to a man. He's on the perimeter. I think, was it you? Did you tweet that we were playing corners with Josh Okogie and Amen?
Yes. Yeah. And it's a phone booth, like basketball. Yeah.
So you see it, right? And but they've got him camped on the perimeter. They give him the ball and he's above the break. And now Şengün has no space to operate. Amen has no space to operate. No one's worried about him pulling up. You can't run a pick and roll because everyone's going under, switching, and they're fine with it. They don't care. There's no threat over the top, right? And so when you do that, like, how are you supposed to have a competent offense? The spacing is totally destroyed. But when he's off the ball, he's actually much better. He's actually a really good passer when he cuts. It's like he snapshots the floor when he cuts really well. But when he has the ball, he's just can't process it, right?
I'm surprised he doesn't go to his floater more. You can correct me.
It's not that good.
Okay. Yeah, he had a few
for his floater to work, he's got to be like pretty close to the basket. And it's hard for him to get that close because he can't shoot.
For sure. Yeah. And so I saw that in game one. He hit a couple of tough like running shots, and I wasn't sure if that was in his bag or not, but I guess he's not too efficient in that.
It is, but it's not something that you want to like base your offense around. It's like something that's there if you need it, but it's like, I don't want to see it unless I have to.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And so you mentioned the guy in the corner, Josh Okogie, another guy, Tari Eason. And this whole conversation, Roosh, like at least in the playoffs so far, this happens every year, but I feel like it's been more pertinent this season, where these DN3 guys, right? And we saw it in Knicks. I don't know if you watched Knicks Hawks closing, but Mikal Bridges got benched for one of their smaller shooting guards. Blanking on the name of the player.
McBride?
Deuce McBride, yes, thank you. Mikal Bridges, $40 million player, whatever, gets benched for Deuce McBride. On the other end with Atlanta, you have Dyson Daniels, first team all defender, gets benched for Jonathan Kuminga, who just got there, was sent away from this team. Tari Eason took 14 shots in game one or two. In game two.
Tari Eason was actually excellent in game one, and then he's just been terrible ever since.
He was 7 for 7 in game one, which felt like an anomaly, in terms of the way he's been shooting. But Is there something to, I guess, because the Rockets did win 50 games, and that's kind of where I want to go after this, but is there something to maybe fill some shooting around this core where it's not
Yeah.
just, it's not so much just we're trying to punch you in the face type of offense. And obviously Ime's gotten a lot of flack for his creativity and just the lineups and stuff like that. But Eason, Okogie, and I think that's why the Lakers can defend the way they can, right? And they're able to be so egregious with their defense is they don't respect any shooting outside of Reed Shepherd, who didn't even really play in one of the games. But just for the Rockets' perspective, is that something you can lean on where they'll, maybe say, hey, let's get shooting around the core and before, I guess, blowing it up, which I see a lot of Rocket fans are for this summer, just kind of pulling the plug on everything that went on the last few years. But is that something you've seen from this series at all?
Yeah. So yes, they need shooting. I mean, point blank period, right? Last
Sure.
night they were 11 of 39 from three. Reed and Jabari combined for 10 of 23. The rest of the team combined for 1 of 16. That is untenable, right? And so Tari Eason was actually, believe it or not, he led the league in 3-point percentage for 40 games or something, 30, 40 games, something like that. And then he fell off a cliff, including around the time we played you guys in March. Fell off a cliff and really just never recovered. The issue with Tari Eason specifically, and then I'll address the point about shooting, is Ime has kind of embraced this idea of hey, everyone can do, I don't know how you want to phrase it. There's a phrase. It's like sometimes me, sometimes you, always some dumb shit like that. But basically he's just given everyone real estate to for example, to bring the ball up. Like you saw Jabari Smith bring the ball up last night and blow the game, right? That should never happen. Okay. You need defined roles. Now roles can be fluid, guys can kind of interchange, whatever. But Tari Eason feels like he's got a license to just go out there and create. And there's times where it's dude, you're down 12 points. Pass the ball, set the offense up. Stop doing this tween hezzy boom boom on the right side of the baseline with Marcus Smart in your grill. Yeah. What are you thinking? What is going through your head right now, right? You're trying to go get a bucket, it's the Patrick Ewing, is that your shot? Did you practice that shot?
Did you practice what are you doing,
that? Right?
Yeah.
And so you'll see it all the time. Jabari Smith will bring it up. Amen will bring it up. Tari Eason will bring it up. Jayshawn Tate, my God, will bring it up, and you're just sitting there this isn't basketball, man. This is pickup bullshit. And so I blame Ime Udoka for that. I also blame the front office for not getting a point guard, for not setting that hierarchy, because in the past it was always fine Fred VanVleet, give him the ball, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as shooting goes, yeah, they need shooting. You need, more than anything, they need basketball players, right? I think they've fallen in love with archetypes, right? Tari Eason, 3 and D, even though there's not much 3, and the D is predicated on chaos. It's not principled, sticking to what we do. It's just hey, I'm just going to get up in the grill of somebody and go try to poke a steal and shoot a passing lane. And sometimes it's great. For most of his career in the Rockets, we've loved him. This season though, with the stakes higher, you've kind of seen man, dude, get principled, think through the game. Don't just go, right? Rui Hachimura, that's a basketball player. Now he might not check all the boxes, but that dude is a basketball player. Luke Kennard, that's a basketball player. Marcus Smart, basketball player. DeAndre Ayton, not so much. But the Rockets, Jabari Smith, he's not if he gets hot, great. He's got a nice midi, but he's not a basketball player. I have better handles than Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, just kind of an agent of chaos, not really a basketball player. Amen Thompson, I don't know. He's a very unique case, so I won't even count him. Jayshawn Tate, not a basketball player, right? Josh Okogie, defensive menace, athlete. I'm happy with the signing. He was a great veteran minimum signing. He's taken on a much larger role than anyone thought he was going to. Not a basketball player, not a hooper. And you don't have to be Bones Highland, boom, 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 hooping, but you got to just know what you can do, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know how you fit in. And, basketball's about hierarchy. You got to know who the top dog is. When y'all bring the ball up, you find LeBron James. Sure. And everything flows down from LeBron James. And the best teams are like this. The Thunder find SGA. The Nuggets find Nikola Jokic, right? You can go down the list. The Rockets are just random. And you're seeing when the chips are down, if you're random, the results you get are also random.
Yeah, I do think there's a level of empowering that the Lakers have done to guys like Kennard and Smart. And you even mentioned their basketball players. And that's the beauty of hoops in the NBA is that, the grass is always greener sometimes. It's interesting. There are Laker fans who would, Roosh, I'm telling you, would swap Rui for Jabari Smith today, and
I've
it
seen.
would.
I know Laker fans love Jabari Smith, and it's weird to me. But yeah, I mean, not
What
to
what
shit on Jabari Smith, but yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah.
what does the national conversation get wrong about Jabari Smith? He looks like just the perfect.
Oh my god.
Obviously the KD stuff separate.
Yeah. So
But
that's one. Oh, he's KD's mentorship is really rubbing off on Jabari Smith. They're nothing alike. Nothing alike. I see a lot of people say, oh, his potential. I've seen some tweets about like, oh, if you build around Jabari Smith, which is an insane concept. But they talk about his potential to be a star. And it's like, look, this is Jabari Smith. When the shot goes in, everything's great. When it does not, he does nothing for you on offense. He can rebound a little bit. He's not like an amazing rebounder. He can kind of rebound. Defensively, like, he's fine. It's one of those things where like the numbers are all the same. Go do me a favor. When you get a chance, or if you want to do it right now, whatever, go look at his basketball reference page, look at his second season, and then look at this season.
Okay.
It is frighteningly, like eerily similar. The only difference is he's gotten more minutes and therefore more shot attempts. So it's scaled up, but the percentages are all the same. And and that goes to the base stats. And that also goes to the advanced stats. So like the rate at which he's doing certain things, very eerily similar. So whenever someone tells you, oh, Jabari Smith has gotten better, it's like, kind of. He can't dribble. He cannot create for himself. He's very mechanical. He's not fluid. He's very stiff. There were moments this season where he kind of did some things and it was like, oh, I haven't seen Jabari Smith do that before. And there, I'd be watching the game and I was like, oh, he drove to the basket and finished. Like, okay. Which again, like that's like, what are we talking about? The number 3 overall pick in year 4. I'm happy about that. But then he would come 2 quarters later and then have like the most boneheaded play, kind of like he did last night, where he was actually playing pretty well last night. He hit some big shots when the Rockets needed points and like he kept us afloat at times, 6 of 10 from 3, like by far the best shooter on the team last night from 3. And then he goes and loses it like that. And so I think what people don't understand about Jabari Smith is he doesn't have skill. He doesn't have basketball skill. He can hit a 3. He's not that great of a 3-point shooter. He's a very overrated 3-point shooter, 36% from 3 this season. It was his career high, which like coming out of Auburn, you would have thought 36% would be a down year for him. He doesn't create for himself. He cannot create space for himself at all. Even when he gets to the post, his mid-range is kind of automatic. That's the one good. That's like the where I would say he's elite.
Okay.
But he can't create it for himself. And he's not that strong. So even when he gets down there, like he's not, he's just going to have to like take a couple dribbles, bump, and then rise up and shoot. He's not a great athlete. He's not a bad athlete. He's not a great athlete. He doesn't jump very high. You see guys that like are 6'11" who can really bounce. Like there's a difference between them and Jabari Smith. He's not very strong. He does a lot of boneheaded stuff. Like he's just a very like whatever. He is a 3-and-D like guy, period. Yeah. It's very similar to Trevor Ariza, but Trevor Ariza could actually close out or could actually drive on a closeout, and Jabari really can't.
Laker and Rocket legend, by the way, Trevor Ariza somehow got both. I don't want to make you relive this, but so last night I thought the most interesting part of the 6-0 run was right after Marcus Smart stole Jabari's pass, which obviously was just the most insane part. It felt like if you go watch that, and I'm not telling you to do this.
I have several times.
Okay. All right. So everyone else on the Lakers was pretty much
they were dead.
They have decided that game was over. They were not playing anymore. Houston was going to run this out. It was 30 seconds left, down 6. Marcus Smart is still pointing. He's giving out instructions, which no one really is following, but Jabari takes it. And so he tries to lob this to Jayshawn Tate. I believe it's Jayshawn Tate.
He tried to lob it to a man.
Excuse me. And then
Tate and the men were over there on the side, which again, Jayshawn Tate, like crazy low basketball IQ. Let me just tell you real quick. He gets the defensive rebound.
Right.
He gives it to Jabari. So that was Tate. Tate did that. He didn't give it to a man. He gave it to Jabari. A man could have curled back around and said, give me the ball. Didn't do it. Then Tate and the men both go up like 2 receivers split out on the same side to the left side, close to the baseline or to the whatever, out of bounds line. And so Tate gets the rebound, gives it to Jabari, wrong guy. And then he goes and junks up the space and kind of creates the condition for that pass to even get stolen in the first place. So.
Yeah. Right. And so Smart gets the steal. And then Jayshawn Tate, who I am not of the belief that he's not a football player. I'm not 100% sure, but
he's definitely not a basketball player. I'll tell you that.
Yes. Yeah. So he is playing a different physical sport, but in any case, he flings and files Marcus Smart and then complains on it hilariously. But in any case, Ime's reaction to that play.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
Because right. And so the insane part to me, and this is where I want to kind of pick your brain on, is, and I'm not attacking Ime for his reaction. I understand it's a frustrating moment, but it felt like he saw the future that the Rockets lost. And I'm sitting there rewatching the game. I'm like, the Rockets are up 6. Marcus Smart, he does do this, but still has to go hit 3 straight free throws, which Marcus Smart's a good free throw shooter, not an elite free throw shooter. But in any case, they're up 6 and they're still in control of this basketball game. Even if Smart nailed all 3, Rockets were still up 3 points with 25 seconds left. But Ime's reaction just blowing up. I'm sure profanity was passed around, in that moment. You picked the Lakers early. I ended up picking Lakers in 6. I thought Houston had a chance to still sweep this team if things went right. But the reason I picked them was I thought Houston would combust. And I thought Ime combusted in that moment. Do you agree with that? And then just, did anything about that moment surprise you with how everyone responded?
No, not at all. As soon as I saw the pass leave Jabari Smith's hands, I thought, oh my God, we're about to blow it. That's the thing about this team, man. That's been what you saw last night. That's been the season. That's not the first time things like that have happened. They have choked so many winnable games away by doing random, unthinkable shit like that. Okay. Why was Jayshawn Tate in the game is my question. What the hell was he doing in the game? I would have rather seen Okogie. I would have rather seen Reed Shepherd, right? Because I don't know. I'd rather see Reed Shepherd. I really don't care, right? Jayshawn Tate, they have this, the organization has this idea or notion of Jayshawn Tate that he's this defensive veteran. And he's not. He's not good at defense. In game 2, he got LeBron jazzed and riled up, and playing physical and tough. And it's like, dude, don't bring this end of the bench non-NBA player in here to muck things up, right? But that's what they do. And so he should not have been in the game, number one. He averages 5 fouls per 36 minutes for his career. It's just that. And I tweeted this a few days ago. I said his only discernible basketball skill, is fouling. I mean, ask any Rockets fan. He will come in the game and just foul. That's what he does, right? And the lack of IQ there to foul Marcus Smart, to get so hard into the contest that you risk that moment where you foul him. And that's a tough shot that Marcus Smart had to make. It's not an easy shot, right? But you're going to foul him and put him on the line, right? Yeah. And not even give him the chance to prove that he has to make the shot. So, I mean, did they combust? They definitely did. Is Ime's reaction illustrative of that? Yeah, it is. It's also Ime's fault for putting him in the game. But they're just such a low IQ team across the board, right? Like Reed Shepherd had a turnover right after that. And people,
right. LeBron,
I'm not going to excuse the turnover, but people say he tried to dribble through 2 people. He said Reed himself said, I tried to dribble through 2 people. If you go back and watch, Marcus Smart had kind of come up. He hadn't fully committed.
Yeah.
Reed makes it past Smart. It wasn't that splitting the 2 was the issue. It's that LeBron poked him from behind. Pause. But LeBron got the ball from behind, right? And hat tip to LeBron. I mean, Reed had Şengün there. I think he had a man or someone else over to the right. He made the wrong play. He should not have turned that ball over. But that is, to me, it's more of LeBron making a great defensive play where Reed, when it happened in real time, I thought Reed had him beat. And I was like, because when he caught the ball and LeBron came after him, I said, oh shit. And then he made the move and I thought, oh, he beat LeBron. Someone's going to foul him and we'll get free throws and hopefully we play this out. And then I saw the ball fly and I was like, oh my God, it's over. Right. And so, but anyways, the point is, okay, I obviously I hate that it happened, but the egregious play is the Jabari Smith pass and then the Jayshawn Tate foul on top of it. Neither should have happened. No one was pressuring Jabari. Marcus Smart was kind of drifting up. I mean, honestly, dude, it would have been more advantageous to the Rockets in that moment had Jabari Smith just sat down holding the ball and taken an 8-second violation.
That's a good point.
And I think they had 2 timeouts, by the way.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just stupid basketball. And it's reflective of Ime Udoka, unfortunately, because Jayshawn Tate shouldn't have been in the game. Jabari Smith never should have had the license to do that. It should be programmed in Jabari Smith's head okay, game's on the line. Where's my ball handler? Not me. I got this. That should never register in his head. But he's been empowered to think that. And then you saw with the season on the line, he did that.
Yeah, Houston was, I believe, favored by 5.5 in this one. They've been favored in every game of this series. It's a wild underdog kind of series for the Lakers. The last Rockets thing, Roosh, you've been one of the few, I would say, that have been a KD kind of supporter this season, where a lot of people have kind of gone on him and blamed him for a lot of the stuff. And again, I like to listen to the people who've watching every day. What do people not understand of why I guess Kevin Durant is actually the guy that has saved this team? You got into some of it with the offensive issues, but I've seen you be a guy that goes on like trying to tell people, no, 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 no. The guy who actually played 78 games and shot 50, 40, 90 is actually the guy that is actually the guy that's helpful. But why do you think that, the national or the conversation around the Rockets has kind of more magnified on him versus the rest of the team?
Well, okay, so I think it's two separate conversations. The national issue is because people don't like KD. I mean, right? Like,
Sure.
ever since the Golden State thing, KD's kind of become a villain in the league, And so, Suns fans hate Kevin Durant. I did not, prior to the season, I did not realize how much they hated Kevin Durant, but they do. And so, any chance that anyone gets to say, "Ha ha, you suck, look at you," they're going to take it, right? And hey, that's his fight to fight. I don't know. Like when he went to Golden State, I thought it was the wackest shit ever, right? So I understand that. He's a Rocket now, and it's been awesome to watch, a future Hall of Famer having all NBA season for my team, So I support it. And obviously, given the circumstances and the context, like these Rockets are under 500 without Kevin Durant. So that's the national conversation. Locally, Houston-wise, or Rockets fan base-wise, I think fans are just emotional. I think it's two things. Fans are emotional. So one, they want consequences, right? And so they want to be like, trade him, get him out of here,
Yeah.
Like the burner thing pissed a lot of people off. And I get it, right? Like, obviously it's disappointing, You'd not expect that from Kevin Durant. Well, I guess you would, but you would hope it wouldn't happen from someone with his stature and, of his pedigree, not only in the league, but in the history of the game. And so that pissed a lot of people off, although, sorry, newsflash, he was right. So it's like, it's not like he was wrong. Now he should not be saying that to random people on the internet. And I totally agree with that. And, I view the locker room as like family business. You're a unit, you're a family within,
Sure.
your family. Right. And so like, you got to take that seriously. That's a serious thing. You can't break that trust. So I understand that. And I agree with that. So that's one piece of it. I think the other piece is that a lot of fans don't, maybe they're more so casual fans. I think a lot of, like, even guys like Nick Wright or, pundits or whatever will say things like, oh, KD and LeBron are not in the same conversation. Obviously, this LeBron James is totally, like, they're totally different players. Sure. Kevin Durant's a scorer. He's not. LeBron James is like, he'll do everything for your team. He'll make the offense run. Like James Harden will make your entire team run.
Yeah.
You can give James Harden 4 random guys and you got a shot. Although I'll argue, you give KD 4 random guys and you still win 52 games. Like it's not, but they're different players. KD finishes plays. He's not a play creator. He's like the most elite shooter, play finisher maybe ever, right? And so I think people see this mismatch, like when they see all the turnovers and all this stuff, and they're like, why is Kevin Durant incapable of doing this? And it's like, well, he's a small forward. He's not a point guard. He's not a do everything combo guard. That's just not what he is. And so, and I mean, even my friends and people I talk to, they're like, get him out of here. I want him gone. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, do you know what that means if you really believe that? Because if you really believe you want Kevin Durant gone from this team specifically, who, like, you just watched the remainder of their team lose to the wounded Lakers. I don't think people understand the implications of that. And I try to explain to people, I'm like, okay, if I had told you that Marcus Smart would have been the best guard in this series before the series, you wouldn't have believed me. Rockets fans, they would have been like, hell no, it's going to be Amen Thompson. Maybe Reed Shepard.
Right.
Certainly not the case, right? If I would have told you, hey, our big offseason or our big deadline acquisition and our big offseason acquisition or last season or whenever you got Marcus Smart, it's going to be Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard. Hell yeah. Rockets fans will be like, what? Gross.
Right.
No. Like give me Tari Eason, give me Jabari Smith, give me all these players, right? And then you see the basketball happen and you're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Maybe, maybe you're thinking about it incorrectly. And so again, yeah, okay, let's run Kevin Durant out of town. Like, am I disappointed with the leadership aspect of it? Yes, I am. Is he a leader by example more so than he is like vocally and like, LeBron is or whatever? Yeah, he's that type of leader. He's the type of leader who shows up, plays 78 games, gives you 26, 5-5 on 50, 40, 90 almost, and plays through injury, even though that's the question right now. And that is the one thing I will say, him not being on the bench, him not powering through an ankle sprain. Like, I don't know. I mean, I will say from my perspective, I don't know which knee, I don't know which ankle. I could see him thinking like maybe shades of the ACL pop and be like, I'm not trying to do that again. I'm not trying to go out there and play on like one side of my body being hurt. And then all of a sudden I'm done for, maybe my career if I have one of those injuries. So I can see that. The bench thing, I've seen some people say like, oh, doctors say like you need around the clock treatment. You got to elevate it, blah, blah, blah. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Also, it does look pretty weak to not be on the bench. So I get all that. But at the end of the day, and by the way, career low usage this season, career low, like not by a little bit, by like at least 1%, I believe. I want to say by like 1.5% ish. And that's not nothing on this team specifically. He was passing it to these guys, to these kids. He wasn't ball hogging. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And people forget that he was playing team basketball with a team that ain't very good. So anyways, obviously I have like a lot of thoughts on it, but
I appreciate you went into full detail. And final thing for me on this, because I think, and I'll get you out of here with this. I find this interesting that he turns 38, Roosh, in 2 days. So I think the injuries. Yes, I believe he's April 27th. I believe is his birthday, if I have that correct. Maybe I googled it incorrectly. But in any case,
I'm gonna look that up right now. I thought it was September, but I'll look that up right now.
Okay, or maybe AI was wrong. Who knows? But in any case, Kevin Durant is 37 at least now, and will turn 38. Whether that's
September 29th.
Oh, 7. Okay, something I saw it is April. Okay. Anyway, any case, he'll be 38 before next season starts. I remember when he went to Phoenix, and there was this conversation of, oh man, him and Devin Booker, the most silkiest, smooth jump shots in the league pairing. I thought those two kind of have very similar games. Like, I know KD is obviously the better player, but two guys who will rely on the mid-range so much. And so he's become a guy that I think the conversation around him is the rim pressure has dropped, right? The attacking the basket has dropped a percentage-wise. He's very reliant on taking tough twos in the playoffs. That gets regular season, I think it's still been consistent in the playoffs. Like, I think second half of game 2, he was 1 for 5. A lot of that is the doubles, but just unable to get shot attempt.
He did sprain his ankle in that second half.
Yes.
I think there's a direct correlation with he gets hurt and then the doubles and then he. So,
but most definitely, he was brilliant to start the game. Hit his first 4 shots. I believe started 4 for 5 or 6 for 7, whatever it was. Is he still a guy you look at and go, okay, I can still build, like, KD can still be best player, championship team, and the Rockets can move forward that way with him?
I think so. Best scorer. It depends on what you think is best player. Maybe you need, look. Let me say 2 things. I'm gonna leave you with 2 thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 1, there has been this shift in thinking to like this idea of positionless basketball. Mm-hmm. And I think it's stupid. You can kind of do it, but and positions don't have to look the way that they used to. Your point guard doesn't have to be 6'2", 190 with crossovers from Brooklyn or something, but you need a point guard. Okay, he needs Fred VanVleet. The team needs Fred VanVleet, right? The Lakers need LeBron James. LeBron James is like the idea of a different style point guard. Jokic needs Jamal Murray, right? And you can go down the list. So you need a point guard. You need a ball handler more so. And so Durant and Booker together, they didn't really have that extra piece to set things up, to set the table. These Rockets, they do not have that to set the table, and that has greatly hurt them. And then the second thing is, I view these Rockets as very similar to the pre-LeBron Lakers. Julius Randle, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, I forget,
Ingram.
Clarkson, Ingram. Those guys specifically. I don't count Caruso in that bunch because he wasn't really he was undrafted, right?
Yes, yeah, undrafted, even worse.
And he kind of like blossomed. I think once they all moved on.
Yeah.
But those guys individually, y'all loved them. I remember Lakers fans being like, "This is it, man. Lonzo, Julius Randle, like, dude, this is going to be the team."
Yeah.
And LeBron came in. He played with them for, I believe, 1 season.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shipped them out. And
he personally didn't, but yes, they were
sure. Yes, right. But he had a very strong preference for Anthony Davis.
Sure. Yes.
And so they Clutch Sports shipped them out, right? and they got rid of Randall, Lonzo, Hart,
Ingram.
Ingram, all in the same trade, right? All for AD.
Yeah.
Which is
Randall
crazy.
Randall walked in free agency, but yes, Randall, Ingram, Lonzo, and Hart all went to New Orleans for Anthony
Okay.
Davis.
And then you kept Kyle Kuzma, funny enough, the worst of the bunch, right? And
Yes.
and then you got AD, you won a championship, right? LeBron stayed, and now you've got a chance to win another championship. You had assets to go retool, you get Luka, and now you have a chance to win another championship. Maybe not this year. We'll see what happens when Austin and Luka come back. KD, now it's not a one-to-one analogy. There are some moving parts. There's some differences. LeBron was 33. I think he was coming off an MVP or like MVP candidate or whatever. Like, obviously he's LeBron James. I get it. Different. But KD coming here, basically LeBron going there, put the microscope on that core. And it was like, it put y'all in a situation to be like, all right, well, do we really believe in these guys, or do we believe in LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Obviously, right? That answer is now pretty clear, right? None of those guys went on to be anything that special. I think the best player out of the bunch is Julius Randle. I don't know how many All-Stars he's made, 2 or 3. I can't remember. I'm not sure.
Yeah, all NBA team.
Yeah, and he's having he's good in Minnesota, and they're good with him, and it works, right? Ingram, he's kind of just been what he's been, right? He's never like gotten over that hump of being
made one All-Star team.
Like a second or third tier kind of level star in the league or scorer, but not a guy that you're like, oh, we got to go get Brandon Ingram. Lonzo, obviously, injuries kind of ruined his career. Josh Hart, role player. Knicks fans are just like, dude, and he's not really cutting it in New York. Whatever, you get the picture. And so these Rockets it's like KD's come here, and now it's like, how good are these guys? You know?
Yeah.
Now I think Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun are better than any of the guys you had, except for maybe Julius. I think Sengun and Randall are in a lot of ways kind of similar. But I think Amen is better than anyone else that you guys, better than Ingram, better than anyone else in that bunch, more valuable at least, especially because of his defense. I think Jabari Smith is, I think he's a better offensive player than Josh Hart because he can shoot. Whatever, we can have that conversation. But the point is, this is kind of our version of that. So KD's here, and now you got to make a decision. Like, you want to try to keep KD around and flip some of these players to go get that Anthony Davis? Maybe it's Giannis. I don't know. I don't know who it is, honestly. I don't know what the fit is. Having a hard time figuring that part of it out. But that's where they're at. Maybe we keep a couple of these guys. Maybe we trade some of them, go get like a real bona fide, legitimate, high pedigree, all NBA player.
Yeah.
And move forward that way. Right. So it's like, so to your point, or to your question about, KD and can you win with that player? I don't know if you can win with this team. I still have this weird belief in me where if you get Adams and Fred VanVleet, and if you replace, I'm going to call Dorian Finney-Smith's contract dead money because it basically is. If you replace Dorian Finney-Smith, like that team can make a lot of noise. Like if that team was here right now, you're probably down 3-0, at least 2-1. And Rockets fans are thinking about playing the Thunder without Jalen Williams and thinking, oh, we might have a shot to actually beat that team. Right. Which I'm sure you're thinking if Austin and Luka come back and Jalen Williams is out, we might have a shot to beat that team. Right. So we're basically flipping positions and then who knows? Maybe we'll make the Western Conference Finals. Who knows?
Right.
But point being, can they build a winner around Kevin Durant? I think so. I don't know what it's going to look like. He showed no signs of slowing down. None. The only variable is his body. And his body could break down because he's about to be 38 years old. So that is very valid. But other than that, I mean, he's a goddamn good basketball player, man. So
generational scorer, 78 games this season, which I think is extremely impressive with how all these other stars kind of treat the regular season and will miss games being available for that long. Now it's unfortunate that
he got nothing easy, dude. He got doubled all year. And he put those numbers in stats up all year.
Yeah.
Everything he got was contested.
Right. And so that's what's interesting about the combo around him and his offensive game. And I think you're right. He's not a elite playmaker. I put him and Kawhi in very similar kind of spots where both of them kind of need someone to set the offensive up, do that other stuff. The leadership stuff I can't really speak to, but that's kind of the stuff that's been honed in on him. It's interesting. I think the Rockets have a really interesting core. Roosh, I've been a fan from afar. I text you all the time when you guys are playing. Like, man, Reed is cold or Amen is, a lead and things like that.
And I'm always like,
yeah,
whatever.
You're like, oh, you don't really know what's going on. And
now you see why, by the way.
But I do. Yeah. And, it's unfortunate. This series should have been really fun. It should have been Luka, Austin, LeBron versus KD and, the full squad. So it's unfortunate how the NBA sometimes the playoffs work out. But Roosh, this has been a blast. I want to have you on again. Hopefully, we'll see if the series extends at all past game 4 on Sunday. But thank you for hopping on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Let me just end by saying, if KD can get fully healthy, I think we can push it to 6.
Ooh, okay.
And if we can push it to 6, we'll see.
Oh man, Houston coming back from 3-0. Wow, that would be a hell of a summer.
We just push it to 6, and then you guys bring Reeves back, and he's not 100%, and he actually, I think, hurts your defense, which would like greatly benefit us. I don't know. And you guys, because you guys like you're catching lightning in a bottle right now, right?
Sure.
Everyone's balling, everyone's on the same page. It's a classic like LeBron and the gang. You know, everyone's just following LeBron's lead, and he's got full license to be LeBron James. Some of that changes when like bigger dogs come back, right? And it maybe messes a few things up, maybe messes your defense up, maybe Reeves isn't conditioned. You know, I don't know. I'm a little hopium here, but if we can push it, if we can just win the next one with KD, steal the next one after that in LA, and push it to 6 to come back to Houston, anything could happen. Big ifs. We'll see.
Anything can happen. Again, that was Roosh Williams. This was awesome. Go follow him on Twitter at Roosh Williams on Twitter. Great follow. Again, a friend of mine for a while in this industry, not just Rockets covers, talks about the NBA at large, has some strong opinions that, sometimes people go back at him with, but a great follow nonetheless. Thank you, Roosh, again for joining me on this show. I'll be back tomorrow on the lounge in post game to react to game 4. And then we'll have Lakers detailed on Monday. But thank you guys for listening.